Hello there, my friends. Hope you all are having a fantastic day right now. And this is going to be the first video where we'll be looking at some basic concepts in Python and programming in general. And I have designed this video to suit both absolute beginners to programming as well as people who have jumped from other languages so that it helps everyone. Let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into the video. Let's first have a really quick look at variables, which are an integral part of any programming language. So, simply put, variables act as a medium of storage of values. And in order to identify a variable, we give a certain name to a variable, and this name is usually related to the kind of value that the variable is going to store so that we can easily identify the variable. Let's consider an example now. Let's say I want to store the value 10, which is a number, in a variable. In this case, we have to actually assign the value 10 to our variable. What this means is that we are just asking the computer to remember the value 10 and store it in its memory so that we can use it in the future. But there is a small problem with this. The computer will do its job now without any hassles whatsoever and store it in a specified address. That is, when it wants to find the variable, it just goes to that address and finds the variable. But the problem is with us because we do not know the address where the computer has stored the variable, but we have to retrieve the value stored at the variable anywhere. And how can we ask the computer to get it to us? This problem is solved by the variable name. So we give the variable name and also let the computer know it. Now when we want to get the value stored in the variable, we just use the variable name and the computer also understands that unique variable name which it has already cleverly linked with the address. So it just goes to this linked address and gets hold of that value and gives it to us. That's how variables work in computer programming. So now we have got to assign a variable with 10. Let me call this variable num because 10 is a number and we said that the variable name should be related to the kind of value that it is going to actually store. So since 10 is a number, I'm just writing a shortened form of number which is num. So now that we have got our variable name, we are going to write num equals 10. So this equal to symbol right here is called the assignment operator, and this is not to be confused with the equal to symbol of mathematics. This is a completely different one. And what this basically does is it instructs the computer to reserve some space for this value which is 10, link its address to the variable name and all of those things. So it takes care of these tasks. So this part is sorted for now. We have successfully assigned the variable called num with the value 10. And now it's time for us to convince ourselves about what we have learned just now. Let us include a print statement. Let us first delete the older print statement and let us include a print statement and let us just print num, that is the variable, and save this and run the program. You should now see 10 printed to the screen. So it's now confirmed that when we say num, the loyal computer immediately dragged 10 from its address and produced it before us, just like when you guys throw a stone and a dog gets it for you. So take some time to digest this concept of variables and rewatch from the first if you are not convinced. If you are still not convinced after rewatching, just shoot out a comment and I'll be happy to help. Now that we have understood, hopefully, what variables are, we can quickly move on to our next topic in this video, which is data types. So data type is actually the type of a value or data. The word in fact speaks for itself. So for example, 10 is a number. This 10 right here is a number, which means you could say it's an integer. And numbers are not the only type of data that we are going to be using in programming. There are also many symbols, alphabets and stuff like that which we'll need to use. And there are four important and basic data types that every programmer should know, and these are integer, float, character, and string. This 10 right here is of integer data type, or int in short, which means this number is a very basic number. It's not very specific. And if this number was not 10 but 10.0, something like this, then you would say that this is a floating point number. And any number which has this decimal point and numbers following the decimal point, then those numbers are said to be of float data type. And if you have any alphabet or symbols or stuff like that, then they are said to be of character data type. And if you have words or a sequence of characters, then the data type of such a value is said to be string data type. So int, char, str, and float, these are the short forms and also the keywords that Python uses to identify the data type of a particular data. Now we can claim that 10 is of integer data type, or as programmers would say, 10 is int. But the best part about Python is that you actually don't need to tell the computer what the data type of a particular data is. The computer itself decides what data you want to store automatically. However, if you are not satisfied with the data type that the computer has assigned by default, then there is a provision for you to change its data type explicitly. That is now really easy to do in Python. Let's say we want to treat this number 10 as a string and not as an integer as assigned by the computer by default. All you have to do now is to write str around 10, which means this keyword str, which you see in blue, is a built-in function in Python which helps to convert the parameter that we pass through it into a string. I hope that made sense. So you could have passed any value to this function called str, and it would always convert that value to a string. Let me actually prove this to you. There is another built-in function called type in Python which gives us the type of a particular data. Let me actually print out the type of the variable num now. So any parameter passed to type actually prints the data type of that variable. And if you are confused about what passed, parameter, and that stuff means, then do not worry. Just understand that enclosing the variable within type gives us the type of the variable. And you will understand this better when we move on to functions. So let me quickly run this program, and you should see this class str, which means the variable num is of this data type right here, which is string. So as you can see, this function right here converted an integer to string. And let me also remove this function and run the code, and let's see what gets printed. So you should see this int right here. So 10 was int before, and when you enclose it within str, it has turned into a string. So that is how you convert the data type of data explicitly using the built-in functions in Python. And for converting to each data type, we have different functions in Python. We saw one now, which is the str function. In order to convert to an integer, we have this int function. And if you want your value to be converted to character data type, then chr is the function that you will be looking for. And if you want the value to be float data type, then float is the function that you are looking for. Just enclose it within brackets like this, and you should see the conversion happening. I hope this video made sense to you guys, and if you did not get any part, then all you have got to do is shoot out a comment and I'll help you for sure. So I'll end this video here, as we have covered two concepts in this, and that's more than enough for one video. So I'll be waiting for your comments, and don't panic if you did not get these in your first attempt. You may want to watch the video multiple times before you can convince yourself that you have captured the gist of the video. And Bye for now, guys, and see you in the next video. Wait, that's not all. If you like my content, smash like and hit the subscribe button in the middle, and also don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified. If you want to watch my latest content, click on one of the videos here.